Well, that is wonderful, Tinker. That doesn't happen all the time, so it's particularly great to hear.
Yeah.
Share with us. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They put that in the lawyers spread that around. Now, Tinker was running the office, letting us go in and work even sometimes a little later, you know, when I'd stay with them till they finished up, you know.
Right.
And so when election rolled around, paper come out the next day. Tinker led the ticket.
Oh,
You know, that made me feel good.
Oh, yeah.
There's several congressmen running, and my sheriff, and all the offices, county offices.
That is tremendous. Well, we've got this shadow box here that has so many of these great pieces from your different years, and of course the idea, I know this was something that your daughter put together for you, but to see some of these great emblems and different points during your career where you ran for office and obviously were successful. This other piece that has you as the clerk, county court, this other great piece when you were running for office is a wonderful thing here. It's very special to see so many times the efforts that are made and that they're really not forgotten about.
That's right, great.
That they're not forgotten about. Share with viewers, Tinker, if you don't mind, a little bit about your wife, Eleonora.
I love talking about her. That's what really, I will say, made me, you know, my wife. I listened to her after we got married. First started, I thought I might know everything, you know, for a while, but I found out she was a little smarter than me.
Didn't find it out early.
Yeah, I found that early. Because I was making $75 a month driving the school bus.
Right.
When we decided to get married. So I asked her, I said, well, I'm not making too much, but she said, well, we'll make it, she said. So we went over to Virginia. One of my best friends and his wife went over to Virginia with me, across the line to get married. We could get married the same day over there. But if we waited, West Virginia won 3 days.
So you guys were ready to get married.
We were ready to go.
We're not waiting 3 days.
So we go in the courthouse over in Bland, Virginia, and got the clerk gave me my license, and I asked the clerk if I could, find a preacher pretty close. We wanted to get it over with, you know, and he said, "Oh yes, just right out the back door. The preacher lives right over there." So I stepped out the door, and there was a little 3-room house sitting back there by itself, and I walked in, and a nice little house. He had, like a lot of us had, you know, had one of the big old pot-bellied stoves there.
Right.
But this was in May the 25th. My wife had just graduated from high school, and on a Friday, and we left on a Saturday morning.
Really?
So she really didn't get much, you know. A lot of people ask me how I ever fooled my wife.
And trick her.
And that trick her. I told them, well, we done a lot of our courting after dark, and she didn't get a chance to see me much until she got married, so it's too late then.
It's too late then, that's right.
Then. So anyway, getting back to the preacher, he said some words over, and asked us if we did or didn't, you know, and we both said, oh, we're ready. I'll take her and she'll take me, you know. And that was about all was said. So I had $2 in my pocket, you know, and that was most of about anything I had. So
yeah,
I took my $2 out and offered it to the preacher, and he said, "Oh, I said, thank you a lot." I said, "I don't charge for marriage. People getting married. I just don't do that. I don't charge." I said, "Well," and I laid it over on a little desk there, and he looked over at it and he said, "Well, I'll put it to a good use." And so we left there, me and my buddy and his wife, and drove back to West Virginia. And shouldn't say it. We wasn't drinking people, but we did have a fifth of old, about 69-cent wine.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, and we took a little sip of that, and as we went, after we got home, you know.
Yeah.
And that was our honeymoon.
That's-
Back in them days, we didn't know what a honeymoon was, you know.
The honeymoon was the 69-cent bottle of wine. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my honeymoon.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was my honeymoon. So, but she, like I say, she made me. I get my little check. Started making a little more money when I drove the passenger bus, then working for U.S. Steel.
Right.
Then when I got up in the courthouse and those. But anyway, I let her handle my.
That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what she did. What she would do, she'd pay her little light bill and her whatever we owed. Got the grocers on credit, you know,
Right.
and she'd pay the little rent, whatever. Maybe we was renting a little place, I think, for $25 a month back then, you know.
Right.
But after she paid all of that, if she had $10 left, she run down to the bank and put it in our savings.
Wow.
And that's the way she always did that. And we wouldn't have had it if it had left up to me, though. I would have
Wow,
found something
Tinker.
to spend.
It
But
would have the hole in your pocket.
I have
yeah.
to give her credit for keeping me going and being able to retire. And
That's tremendous, Tinker. Yes, to be able to set the stage
Yeah,
to retire. That's
she was something. Yeah, she was the best.
that's
I was
part
trying
of
to think of some things she did do, but she did so much. She never wanted to do for, or she couldn't do enough for me and the two girls, Patty and Linda, but she just couldn't do enough for us. Always wanting to do something, but she didn't want to do much for. She didn't want us to. In other words, we would go to buy her a Christmas present or a new dress, you know, and the girls would go help me pick it out, and we'd tell her that where we was going to get it, and we liked it, and she'd say, "How much is it?" I said, "It's going to be $25." She said, "Oh, wait till after Christmas, day after Christmas. I'll get it for 15. But don't get it for me now." No, she always looked for a bargain, in other words.
That is tremendous, Tinker. Well, I hate to say we're running out of time, and that sets the stage. Elnora is part of the reason, I guess is very much the reason you ultimately left West Virginia and head to the D.C. area, and so I want to make sure we have a chance to talk about this. You said you'd be willing to come back and be with us tomorrow?
Sure, I'd be glad to.
Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
great. Well, we'll look forward to coming back and being right here with you tomorrow.
Well, thank you, Gray. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, Tinker. And stay tuned to a little more All America People with Tinker St. Clair coming up next. If you could learn the secret to long life and looking good in later years, wouldn't you want to know it? You got to come back and be with us tomorrow for part 2. If you want to learn about the U.S. Senate losing a dear friend and finding out who that is, you got to come back here and be with us tomorrow for part 2. And if you want to hear one of the most special quotes ever given as a testament to a friendship, then you got to come back and be with us for part 2 of Tinker St. Clair tomorrow. Tinker, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Well, I appreciate. Thank you for having me, Gray.
Yes.